Is it wrong that I wouldn't mind if they injected Doug with it if it made his cough go away?
I fight through it. I'm a champion. I'm a warrior, a gladiator. You'd be up in bed with covers all around you and
That's right.
wash rags on your forehead.
That's right. I'd want to heal up for the people, not sound like what a dying dog behind a barn, like you sound like.
I don't have time for that.
Welcome back to another edition of KC on Tap. A ton to get to. We are steamrolling into this Labor Day weekend, officially saying au revoir to the summertime and hello to fall. Coming up, we've got the latest edition of Headlines. Huge college football weekend. We're going to talk about a husband who admitted to adding cocaine and MDMA, otherwise known as Molly, to his wife's drinks. He wanted to kill her to marry someone else very, very close to the wife. We're also going to break down the Untold Sign Stealer documentary that just came out on Netflix about our boy. Not for nothing, but if I ever had a porn name, it might be Connor Stallions. We're going to get to the fan feedback, and you take some shots, Douglas, and rightfully so. As you know, we're growing slowly but surely, like a fungus, as we say every week. We have added, Kerry Croft, obviously Doug Wade, and now we add Big Red here. Edward Conley is one of the greatest human beings I've ever known, my best friend here in Cleveland. But more importantly, he brings a lot of knowledge when it comes to the high school football scene. As you can see, he's wearing a Mentor that is not an Arizona Cardinals jersey.
That is not.
It is a Mentor high school football Cardinals jersey. So we're bringing him on for some football talk. He's a great guy, great sports fan. Doug, let's give him a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Edward Conley, the floor is yours. What's going on, brother?
Pleasure to be here. Just, excited about the Mentor Ignatius game coming up at John Carroll University tomorrow night. Expecting a big night for my boy Scotty Fox. You mentioned, gave him a shout out last week. Really appreciate that. So
I said he was unforgettable, then I forgot his name for 4 seconds. I love Scotty Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, and we also tonight are bringing our best bets. It's football time, guys. It's football time. The NFL futures that Douglas hinted last week. He's got some big ones for you. For all you degenerates out there, we are going to help you lose some money. Don't you worry about that. But first, as always, Douglas, let us say hello to our new faces. What do you say? Sound good? Welcome, Portland, not Maine. A couple weeks ago was Portland, Maine. With all due respect to Portland, Maine, Big Brother Portland has now joined the party. Welcome, Portland, Oregon. Solon, Ohio. And this one's special. Hello, Adelphus, Ohio. The Fighting Blue Jays. In no disrespect to Adelphus Jefferson, but, Adelphus St. John's, the history of football is a little bit different. The streak, currently the record held in the state of Ohio for consecutive victories on the gridiron. Sorry, Wyoming and Cincinnati. We're not talking about regular season here. Okay, you got to finish the deal. Adelphus St. John Blue Jays, 57 wins in a row. We are now in 60 cities around this great world, 3 countries. Congratulations to everybody out there who have stumbled upon this terrible excuse for a podcast. Fan feedback. Our listeners are becoming more savvy. Here's a great example from Ryan, also known as Leroy Jenkins. Quote, pass this along to Dougie Hauser. Haven't heard such fanboy bias from an on-air personality since Greeny Mike Greenberg during his Mike and Mike days.
Well, here's the thing. It's unfortunate for me that here in our first season, in the inaugural season, that the Browns are underrated, and it may come off as bias at this point in time, but in reality, it's
called you a fanboy.
I'm speaking to you, fanboy. Stop it.
But
listen, time will tell.
The Browns suck. However, the show is on the up and up. Seems to be getting into a rhythm. Interested to hear about the return of the X Factor. Finally, a question. Is the Cantaloupe stand akin to the dumpster out behind the smoker's patio in the strip mall next to Title Boxing Club? Asking for a friend. I would say I didn't know what he was referring to, but I'd be lying, and I don't lie to the people. Yes, Ryan. Yes. Last week we had a mailbag that in the shower. And we gave some advice. One of the pieces of advice came from me, which was, start banging at a farmer's market behind the cantaloupe stand. And then maybe she'll want that more often. It's better than the shower. There was a time where I was drenched in filth And let's just say that, yes, Ryan, yes, astute observation. That would be akin to the smoker's patio next to a dumpster. God bless everyone and God bless America.
I will say I am cautiously optimistic when it comes to the Browns.
Doug's a lifelong Browns fan too, but the way he presented the Browns last week was shameful.
In Doug's defense, he's been like that since you guys did the record projection, and he had him at 12-4, 12-5, whatever.
12-5.
Deshaun Watson hasn't thrown a football since 2019.
Okay. To my defense, as many sports commentators will say, or hosts that talk on this stuff, as new facts present themselves, things can change. When we first did that record was back 2-3 months ago. I had no idea that Watson was still going to be ailing in the preseason and that Chubb was going to be put on the PUP. I mean, a lot of factors change. I'm going off the knowledge I had at that time.
Physically unable to perform. Boys, have you guys ever been on the PUP in life? You know what I'm saying? Come on, be honest. Be honest. Hey, don't even try to fib. Doug, I can see you leaning towards the side of truth. I see you nodding. Is that a yes? Yes. Edward? Because I have as well. So for all you guys out there that sometimes gets a little dicey and then the woman.
What are you referring to here?
You know damn well what I'm referring to. The blood flow in the unit, okay? You guys have all seen the movie 16 Candles. Sometimes, like the late, great Wong Duk Dong said, no more Yankee my wanky. The donger need food. Sometimes there's only so much you can do. Whenever it happens, guys, don't be embarrassed. Just put your Viking helmet on and just say onward. Onward. Live to fight another day. Fan feedback number 2 from Dom, the assistant to the assistant VP of Hype. Doug, you ready for this? You got your shield up?
Wow.
Our fan base is growing and they're picking up on things. And frankly, I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. Tiny little correction to our PGA Pro. The FedEx Cup has been in place for 15 to 16 years, not 5 to 6. Also, I will place a $100 bill on the over for Vikings wins.
You want to talk about a diehard?
Well, yeah, but his money's where his mouth is. He wants to. He's willing to.
I can continue to take Dom's money year after year.
Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
We'll get to that. We haven't even got to that stuff yet.
Okay.
I don't like taking money from my friends.
Dom, I think you and I both know where that's going. Number 3. This is a good one from an Amy in Bloomington, Indiana. Just thought you'd like to know that your podcast actually did grow on me like a fungus. LOL. Was forced to listen in a car with my boyfriend with zero intentions of enjoying. Now I've listened to every episode, and honestly, it's opened my eyes and other things sexually in the best of ways. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Amy in Bloom. I don't know about you boys, but I may or may not have had some interactions with a Hoosier or two. I'm just going to tell you. She knows. They know what they're doing. God bless the Hoosiers. Let's go, Amy.
You're saving relationships one vulgar comment at a time.
What'd you say, Ed? One vulgar comment at a time. Doug, what the hell?
That's not
Shame.
Right.
It's not right. Shame on you. Hashtag Perb Nation. Hashtag Perb Island. You and Carrie from Columbus. Hey, you and Carrie from Columbus can go over there and stand in the corner. Doug and I are nothing but pure souls that provide truth, light, reason, logic, justice.
Yeah, I'm sorry if sometimes the correct answers aren't what people want to hear. That doesn't make us vulgar.
Let's get to those headlines, boys. Headlines that, I like to think about, people 100, 200 years from now, they open a time capsule, they see these headlines, they think, 2024 was a hell of a time. Best headline, I hate to say best, but Indiana man tried to kill wife by poisoning her Coca-Cola with cocaine, MDMA, and other things so he could marry her daughter. It's a true story. Alfred Ruff, 71 years old. Pleaded guilty in the wake.
71.
70. We should see a picture of this guy.
Jesus.
He's 71. No, wait a minute. Wait. It gets better.
Wait,
He pleaded guilty in the.
killing his wife or attempting?
Oh, she's alive. She made it, but she had a rough go here for about 6 months. She's going to the hospital, puking, sick as a dog, and testing positive for drugs she's never taken. Only in America, 2024. He has pleaded guilty in the Wayne County Court. Told cops that his stepdaughter, her daughter, and one of her friends convinced him to go ahead with the plot and provided him with the drugs to sprinkle into his wife's drinks. He claimed his wife's daughter, quote, wanted to get mom out of the picture so they could cash in on her life insurance policy, and she had promised to marry him after they, quote, took care of the wife. The husband admitted to poisoning his wife's drinks about 12 different times between September and December of the year 2021. Each time, the concoction of substances would knock the wife out for roughly 13 hours. Ruff told cops that his stepdaughter and her friend would then allegedly come to the home, put on the wife's lingerie, and have sex with him. Let that marinate for a second. He was eventually nabbed after the wife contacted police in early 2022, saying she'd been hospitalized 6 times in a matter of weeks, testing positive for drugs she'd never taken. When the cops took Ruff into custody, they said there were probing allegations leveled against the stepdaughter. That's a poor choice of words by that journalist, or a great choice of words by that journalist. But no arrests have been made. The daughter and the friend, that were doing all the sex stuff so far. You guys have any thoughts on that? Right over here in Indiana, that happened.
So many.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here? First of all, why? Okay, so the stepdaughter is agreeing to marry the dad. Why does she have a friend following her around all over the place? What does the friend have to do with that?
They were having sex acts with.
So he's getting 3 ways out of this.
Yes.
So
that's yes.
This is insane.
At 71 years old, maybe he was on the physically unable to perform list, and that's what the friend was there for.
And here's the wife passed out right there, and they're railing.
Yeah, and she's like on the floor, and they're on the bed while she's laying on the ground. Like where? How is this taking place in the house? Where's the mom at? I mean,
I got to try to figure out the logistics of this.
I've never even tried cocaine in my life. I know people who have taken it. I wasn't aware that cocaine knocked you out for 13 hours. I thought
must have been another.
I thought it was the opposite.
Must have been another drug in there. It's a concoction. More than one.
Jesus Christ. Okay. And there you have it, folks. Headlines. Only from 2024. Okay. We've made it. We've made it to the hot takes. We've made it to football. Look at my North Dakota State, 14-10. I have asked Edward. Oh, you know what? Actually, before that, let's talk about quickly.
Hold on. North Dakota State's winning 14-10?
They're losing 14-10. They were up 10-7.
Against Colorado.
Yeah.
Against Deion Sanders. Okay. All right. Continue.
One of my lock plays of the weekend is North Dakota State plus 11.5. But unfortunately, because the podcast come out tomorrow, it's not going to count. But that's one of my.
Well, as one who stood on a ledge last week and declared this would be Deion Sanders' last year ever coaching Division I football, this is no surprise to me.
Edward, what do you think about that? Douglas Wade thinks that. Go ahead.
I actually had Colorado not covering the spread either. But then I realized the game was tonight. As far as Deion not coaching again, I don't know that I go that far. I mean, have you seen the Big 12? Colorado could run the table and win the Big 12. I mean,
there's a hot take. There's a hot take.
Who's the competition? Kansas?
Hell, I think Mentor could give him a run.
Utah, bite your tongue, son. That's my big hot take. Final Four pick.
That's certainly a hot take.
Yeah. You show me another team with a quarterback who's 37 years old, seasoned veteran. The way that whatever his name is out there.
He's thrown passes more recently than Deshaun Watson. I can tell you that.
We'll get to the Browns. Did you guys watch that science the Netflix documentary? What was it called?
Stealing signs?
Sign stealing. Yeah. Did you guys watch that?
Not yet.
It was awful. I mean, it was great, but it was awful.
What were your takeaways, Ed? Yeah.
My takeaways are: if Connor Stallions came into my house, told me he was Connor Stalions, I wouldn't believe it. I don't believe a word that comes out of the guy's mouth.
Yeah.
From saying, "Oh, I just walked into the office and asked for a job and they gave it to me." No, you didn't. Like, Casey, imagine walking on the sidelines at Ohio State. "Hey, Ryan, how's it going, buddy? I know a little bit about football. Can I have a job?" "Sure."
If
"Oh,
you
I
gave him
don't
some,
know."
if you gave him some just for men, dark black
To,
beard gray
"Oh,
beard dye, he might
I
let
don't
you.
know if these guys were recording signals or I didn't tell them to do it." Yes, you did. To, "I'm smart enough to analyze 8 dudes giving signals." There's no chance that anybody is smart enough to analyze that. Just the sheer number of combinations of 8 dudes throwing up gang signs on the sideline, and you're analyzing it to say, "Oh, they're going to run a 38 jet sweep," or whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, there's no chance that anyone could decode that. I
He
don't
did.
believe a
He
word that
did.
comes out of his mouth.
So, Doug, you haven't seen it yet.
No.
There's some key takeaways. I took some notes, and what Ed is saying is correct on the emotional side of things. It's clear. I mean, this guy is a snarky. I mean, he know. All right, let me back up. First of all, he's a Naval Academy graduate. Okay, very smart guy. When we use the word weird nowadays, weird is used way. Everybody's weird. Everyone's got a weird thing. Weird. Whatever the hell weird is to anybody. However, I will say some things are closer to universally being weird to everybody than others. Like, for example, grown men, wearing jerseys and getting starstruck and autographs and all this nonsense. This Connor Stalions, his obsession with Michigan football is about as weird, universally weird, in my opinion, as anything. You can't take an Ed. They showed how he implemented. He created his own freaking, like, they showed him doing his own, what he did to uncover the work he did. You can't take away from him. I mean, he probably could cure cancer if he wasn't flawed, this Michigan nut. But it was wild what he came up with. His obsession with Michigan football was, again, really made me uncomfortable. Very strange. Almost as strange, Edward. I'm rarely embarrassed to be an Ohio State football fan. What the hell is going on with Bro-Hio?
Yeah, that dude was weird too.
What the hell was going on with Bro-Hio, dude? Dude's dressed like Spider-Man because he doesn't want anyone to. Now, wait till you see this guy. He had a hood, a mask. He literally looked like Spider-Man in his black Spider-Man outfit. His name is Bro-Hio on chat boards. He was representing Ohio State fans and how he cheated. It was humiliating. Who cares?
Well, and listen, if sign stealing exists at the level that these two guys are claiming,
Of course it
take the
does.
under every single time in
Of course
every
it
game
does.
ever. There's no. I can't fathom that sign stealing exists at the level that these two claim it does.
Well,
I can't fathom that.
in this world of HD, look, you know that viral clip that showed like CJ Stroud, you'll call it.
The point and everybody.
You talk about playing chess and checkers. What the hell is Ohio State doing? The whole sidelines on Michigan is doing this. You can't look over there and go, you got to. There's intelligence and then counterintelligence. There's punching and counterpunching. Michigan, you got to give Jimmy Harbaugh and his boys credit. They whooped everyone's ass. Ohio State gave him their best shot in Michigan. I mean, what's his nuts that went over to freaking Syracuse, that quarterback, Kyle McCord, threw that garbage-ass interception to open the game, and we were playing uphill the whole damn time.
Yep.
But they beat us. That's the reality. So that Connor Stalions is a squirrely dude. And then what about him being on the field? When they beat Ohio State, he's in his outfit like in the linebacker song. He's like, hey.
Oh, yeah. What's up, YGB?
Yeah, just like, bro. Man. All right. Let's get to the hot takes, boys. Let's get to our NFL futures. All right. We are going to talk about team over-unders, right? Is that what we're coming? All right.
Yeah,
so,
I've got a list of these.
Yeah, go ahead. So who wants to start? We're going to start with, for all of you out there looking for some hot futures picks, these are for entertainment only. Remember that. Gambling's a big boy, big girl thing.
We'll let our guest of honor start us off.
Yeah. Edward, what do you got, buddy?
Do you want me to run down my list, or you want to go one at a time?
Yeah, just go one at a time and just talk about them. And
All right. So I've got Arizona over 7.5. I mean, they won, I believe 4 games last year with Josh Dobbs at quarterback. You can't tell me that they're not a 3-game improvement with Kyler for the entire season. Marvin Harrison's going to be a stud. Just take the over on Arizona 7.5. But I have Buffalo under 10.5. I think Josh Allen is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. If you want to talk about hot takes, I could discuss that in great detail. They have no Stephon Diggs, no Gabe Davis this year. I mean, their receiving core might as well be me and you, Case. Atlanta, Atlanta over 9.5. They got rid of Arthur Smith, who I don't even know if he's ever played Madden. Um, Atlanta could possibly
I've
sweep
never
their
played Madden
division.
either. Right.
Well, still,
But I'm
you're
not a
not a
coach
head
in the
coach
NFL.
either.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Atlanta over 9.5. They could possibly sweep their division. They've also got the Broncos, Vikings, Raiders, Giants, and Commanders on their schedule. My math is correct. That adds up to roughly 11. I'll take the Las Vegas Raiders under 6.5. They're in the division with the Chiefs and Chargers, and they'll probably split with Denver. I don't see another win on their schedule. With Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, it's not
Okay.
good for him.
Did you say you hit Atlanta over? I'm just trying to keep.
Atlanta
Okay.
over 9.5. Yeah.
All right. So that's juice up to
And,
minus 154. Okay. So your fifth one?
okay. And fifth one, I have the Giants under 6.5. The Giants had one 100-yard rusher last year. He's gone. They had two 100-yard receiving games. That offense is atrocious. Malik Neighbors is not
Danny
enough to
Dimes?
save it.
Come on, Danny Dimes.
There's just they'll get swept in their division. The Commanders are going to be better than expected. The Cowboys are definitely better than the Giants, and the Eagles are going to be in the AFC Championship or NFC Championship game again.
Oh boy. All right, Douglas, William, Doogie.
Interesting. Hey, so the good thing is I didn't have any opposed to Ed. Ed, we had one the same. Now the lines, I'm sure we're all gathering the lines and totals from different spots. I also have the Cardinals over. I had them at actually over 7 minus 155. So depending on you, they might be 7.5 out there. I actually saw them at 7. I do like Arizona. I like Kyler Murray. I spoke on Marvin Harrison last week. That offense is going to be very good. They've got depth now, running back at receiver. They've got Trey McBride at tight end. That offense is loaded. Plus, the AFC West is not that good. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Cardinals. I touched on a few of these last week. The Bears under 9.5. There's way too much hype surrounding them. Way too much hype surrounding them right now. I mean, I know Casey loves the Bears this year. I don't see it. Their defense is below average. The running game is not great. I mean, they've got DeAndre Swift on his third team in 3 years. The receivers are good, obviously, but Caleb is going to have his up and downs, and I do not see them getting double-digit wins. The Browns over 8.5 goes without saying. I mean, that's ridiculous. 8.5 games. I mean, my God, stop that.
Fanboy. Fanboy.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Fanboy. There he is. Ooh, fanboy. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So I
That's not one of your picks. You're an idiot.
I guess
I got to be honest. Doug, I'll side with you on this. At 8.5, I would take the Browns over 8.5.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ed. You've already gave your 5, though. And
No,
that's not how this works. You went first, and you were smart enough. Even though you're a Browns fan, you see, Douglas, go ahead. Go ahead.
Again, I'm giving my 5 best bets here. It doesn't mean I'm a fan of all 5 teams. That's ridiculous. Browns just happen to be one of the 5 best bets.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is right. Staying in the AFC North. I've got a list of about 10 I could give.
Why don't you give the ones that you actually think are going to cash?
Well, I think all 10 of them are going to cash. So I'm going to stay with the AFC North. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin's streak of 17 straight years or whatever over 500.
Oh wait,
you can take that streak and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Let me guess. The Bengals and the Ravens and the Steelers are all going to suck, and the Browns are going to be amazing. Is that how it's going to be?
No, I just said the Steelers under 8.5. The Steelers under 8.5 is one of my 5 best bets.
They have a problem. The Steelers have a quarterback problem.
They've got no offense. Russell Wilson is extremely overrated. They're going to wait too long. They don't want to be proved wrong, so they're going to wait too long until they hand the reins over to Fields.
Guys, hang on. Can we talk about that for a second? Can we talk about? Listen, I don't think Tom. I think they try. I mean, hell, Wilson was hurt in the preseason. They gave Justin Fields every chance. The fact that Russell Wilson was named the starter, can we just? Is it time now to say that maybe Justin Fields? I mean, something must be really wrong with that. I mean, something must be wrong. He should have snatched that. What do you think?
I don't think that's the case. I think they told Wilson that he's going to be the starter. He was banged up. He probably, they're saying, hey, you don't lose your position due to injury. I think they're going to start off with him and see how it goes. I think they trust him more. I don't think they feel like they know either quarterback yet. But Fields has got a lot more talent, and that will come to fruition by the end of the year.
Dan Orlovsky does a great job on ESPN breaking down, like when he does that the touchscreen and he shows like the windows. He was breaking down that last game that Fields was playing, and it was interesting. He was essentially showing the reads, and he was showing you. He paused it and he'd say, "Look, you can see Fields seeing and looking at the proper throw, but for whatever reason, not making it. Whether he's afraid to throw it in those tight windows." he gave a really good analysis as to what the coaches would look at, and he ends up scrambling around, and his athleticism takes over, and then he had 3 or 4 fumbled snaps. I don't know, man. Russell Wilson is so bad. God, he's so bad. And he was injured. The fact that I don't think that Tomlin would have, I disagree. I think Tomlin, he's earned his stripes in the league where he could say to a veteran like Wilson, we may have said, or the Steelers organization may have said you'd be QB1. You didn't earn it. Ed, what do you think?
I think Russell Wilson is on the shortest leash in the NFL this year as far as starting quarterbacks go. I do agree that over 500 streak comes to an end this year. That defense is, the defense is lights out, but the problem is, if you can't score more than 10 points a game in the NFL, you're not going to win football games. It's that simple.
The good news is they're playing against a team from Cleveland that doesn't have a quarterback at all. And they're playing against the Bengals, who are just imploding right now. They're imploding. Joey Burrow, this poor guy. Who knows where he's going with his head and his mind and his modeling career, his wrist. You guys hear about the injury he had? They said it's 1 of 1. 1 of 1. They've never seen injury like this in his wrist. He hasn't recovered. Then you got this Jamar Chase. He's not going to play. Look, Mike Tomlin and the boys are going to be just fine. And the Ravens. You two, the Bengals and the Browns don't need to worry about the cream in that division. Okay. All right, Doug. So your recap. What were your 5 were?
So far, I've got Arizona.
Okay. Yep.
Chicago. I've got Arizona over, Chicago under.
Okay.
The Browns over, the Steelers under, and I've got one more.
Okay.
And I did touch on the Vikings, but they're not. They were my bonus play. But my fifth one that I'm going to give you is one I touched on last week. Also, is the Jets Jets over 9.5. I love the Jets this year. I think the AFC East is down. Buffalo's down. Miami's decent, but they're not there. New England's the worst team in football. The Jets are going to win 11, maybe 12 games. I think they're strong. They've got skill players for days, and they've got a great defense. That defense is ridiculous. This is the Super Bowl potential team right here. This is a Super Bowl contending team. I think the Jets. So I like over 9.5 on them.
Okay. All right, boys. The JV picks are out of the way. Varsity picks coming.
Jesus,
here we go.
Speaking of varsity, real quick, North Dakota State just took a 17-14 lead.
Yeah, varsity that case.
I love He missed. I love North Dakota State. It was one of my plays. What are you talking? Okay, first of all, I was just busting your chops because the hottest of takes is that Deion. Everyone thinks that Deion's going to take the Florida State job. Hell, I've even heard whispers of NFL gig, and Douglas just thinks that he's going to be out of coaching completely.
No, I said out of college coaching.
Okay, well, I'm just saying I wasn't. I don't care. North Dakota State and 11.5.
The biggest reason is not because I don't think he can coach, but as I said last week, he's not going to want to spend one more day than he has to in Boulder, Colorado. And as soon as his son and Travis Hunter are gone with their another consecutive 4-10, 4-9 season, he's out of there. He ain't staying in Colorado to hang out with cowboys and skiers up in the slopes. Give me a break. He's out of there. He ain't staying there. Next.
I feel like Ryan Day's beard would look a lot like Deion's if he just stopped putting that whatever the hell he puts in it. Like, look at Deion's beard. Looks awesome. It's like he looks like Santa Claus over there. Like, come on, Day. Go Gray. Here we go. Pick number 1. The New England Patriots under 4.5 wins, ladies and gentlemen. Racket. This kid from North Carolina that they picked, this quarterback they picked.
He's not starting though.
Nor should he. Holy mackerel. You talk about some rebuilding. I hope New England fans, hope you enjoyed the run because your over-under total now is 4.5. So suck on that. Under. Number 2, the Saints of New Orleans. Under 7.5. Oh, my God. David Carr. Alvin, what's the guy's name? Kamara. Kamara just turned 42. And, well, he was tough 10 years ago. Okay. Under 7.5. Chuck Downing is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. It's not good. It's not good. Under. There you go. You're 2-0 right there. You hear those dollar signs? They're not mine. They're yours, people. Go out to Vegas and cash it in. the Kansas City Chiefs. The Fighting Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce. Under the 11.5. 11.5. It's too many. It's too many. It's too many. Andy Reid and they're going after, for the first time since the merger in, I believe, the late 50s, the National Football League merger. There's never been a team that has won 3 consecutive Super Bowls. And if there was a team to have done it, it would have been the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. Don't worry about it. If the Cowboys didn't do it, it can't be done. Let me repeat that. You will write this down. If the Cowboys didn't do it, it can't be done. The Chiefs under 11.5. How many is that? 3?
Yeah.
Is that 3? Yeah.
That was 3.
Perhaps you think in case. Unders. It's depressing. Frankly, it feels un-American to bet on unders. We all want to bet overs. I'll give you some tasty overs. The Chicago Bears. Holy! I'm telling you right now, the Chicago damn Bears. 8.5. Get your wife, your girlfriend, your mistress, get all of them lined up. Stop putting Coke in their drinks while their daughters come over and dance in lingerie. Okay, get your shit together, get to Vegas, and get you some of the Fighting the Bears. Over the 8.5, minus the 160. Look at that juice, Doug. 160. Vegas is barely hanging on to this line.
Well, that's what I touched on before. I mean, I found the Bears at 9.5, so that totals anywhere from 8.5 to 9 to 9.5, depending on where you're looking.
Well, look, Ed and I went to FanDuel. He asked if we want to be consistent. Yeah. We're on FanDuel.
Well, FanDuel's got lines.
Okay, that's enough out of you. No one wants to hear any more of your JV nonsense, your fanboy nonsense. Let me explain this very clearly, because the number one pick, this pick, my friends, I need to explain this to you. I will chop this up and edit this, and I will play this at the end of the year. I want you to know right now that if you are Jack and Rose, if you're Jack hanging on to that in the freezing cold frigid water, saying, Rose, if you need a lifeline, okay, if you need your kid's college fund, if you need that sucker doubled, if you need to clean the books with your neighborhood bookie that they call Knuckles, you're gonna find Jim Harbaugh, and you're gonna find the San Diego, nay, Los Angeles Superchargers. You're gonna go to that sports book, you're gonna look up that digital number, and you're gonna say, let me put all this hard-earned hay, these stacks of hay, on the Chargers over 8.5 wins. What is happening out there? I just gave you a 5-team futures parlay that could set your retirement for generations to come.
I heard Ed's picks. I heard my picks. I heard yours picks.
Yeah.
In my opinion, yours are by far the shakiest. I mean, the Chargers and the Bears. What is going on with you? Listen, hey, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got that's great. But my God, don't make the people take all of their hard-earned cash. Maybe tell them just to sprinkle it.
How about this? Okay, fine. I've got a bonus point. The Browns. By the way, here, just so you know, I'm not making this up.
Here we go. Here comes fanboy.
Right here. It's right here. Look, there's my notes. Browns under. Boom.
Yeah, I understand. But fanboy, you just got to mention your anti-fanboys.
I gave my 5. You came at me and demanded more. Ed, what do you think about the voice of reason and his picks, meaning me?
I mean, I'm on board with the Chargers and the Chiefs being under. Or the Chargers over and the Chiefs under. I'm on board with both of those.
So 2 out of 5. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots, I feel like I don't know. Yeah, nobody knows about the Patriots.
These teams, they're going to be bad. These teams accidentally win 4 or 5 games every year. So I mean, it's hard.
I've got the Patriots. I got the Patriots under 4.5 wins.
I want to know when you flipped the switch on Caleb Williams. When did you jump on that bandwagon? Because I remember conversations where we were like, "This kid can't go number 1. There's no way." We thought all the analysts were crazy.
Well, I've done a little research. I've been watching some film.
You must have been watching Hard Knocks, huh?
Been watching film. All right, don't
Yeah,
you worry about it.
and he
You're
didn't look
stealing
great in Hard
signs now,
Knocks.
Connor.
Hey, hey, boys, I've got my picks. You've got yours. It's on record. Casey on tap. The fans, everyone will hear. It's gonna be so joyous. All right, do you guys have your three best bets for the? Are you guys excited? How nice college football is back. Let's do this. Our three best bets, and we're gonna keep track of these all season long. So, Edward, as Doug so eloquently said before, our guest of honor, why don't you go first?
All right, right off the rip, we want to talk about something that being back. How about this? How about the U is back? The U goes into the swamp, covers the 2.5. Cam Ward, Heisman contender.
God, Cam Ward.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Heisman.
No, he's tough. Cam Ward's tough.
They're definitely going to cover the 2.5 in the swamp.
Okay.
We got South Dakota State on a 29-game win streak going to Oklahoma State. They covered. They're getting 9.5. So San Diego State.
San Diego State or South Dakota State?
Sorry, yes, South Dakota State. I apologize.
No,
South
it's all
Dakota
right.
State plus 9.5.
Okay, plus 9.5 at Oak State.
Correct, at Oklahoma State.
Okay.
And then we have WVU plus 8.5. Penn State coming into Morgantown. Morgantown is bananas on a big game day. So not only will I take West Virginia to cover that at 8.5, I will also take the over on that game. It is going to be a shootout. WVU wins that game outright.
We need 3 though. You get 4. We need your top 3. So the total over under there, or are you going to take WVU plus 8.5? Because you got Miami and you got South Dakota.
I got you. Okay. WVU to cover.
Those are the 3. Douglas, what do you got, buddy?
That's interesting. So I'm going to start off with the one that and I got my paper here to prove it when I read these. So first of all, I'm starting off the one that I've been on for a couple weeks. I'm taking Texas A&M minus 2.5 over Notre Dame. Now listen, Notre Dame's schedule is so bad. If Notre Dame happens to win this game, they potentially could end up with 1 or 2 losses, playing the worst schedule I have ever seen, and they're going to backdoor into the playoff. This game is pivotal.
Yep.
To get this nonsense of Notre Dame out of here this year, and I think it'll be proven right away. Week 1, I'm taking A&M minus 2.5. My second one, give me the Gators of Florida plus 3 against Miami. Gators at home against Miami. When we mentioned this earlier, we had talked about the SEC a little bit, and I said Florida had a great transfer portal. They've got a great freshman class. They got young. Their speed. They're much better here these last couple of years with the talent that's coming back into them than they have been. I think Florida plus 3 over Miami. I think they win that game outright.
Okay.
And for my last play, I've got a little teaser for the people. I'm doing a little teaser here. So everyone may not know what a teaser is, and I've got some rules when it comes to teasers. Teasers for football, people use 2-team teasers, which typically are 6 points that you can move 2 games, but you got to win both. If you win one and tie one, it's a push. But if you win both, you win the bet. Now there's 3-team teasers at 10 points and so on and so forth. But we're sticking with a basic 6-point teaser. Couple rules of thumb: when you do a 6-point teaser, never cross 0. Never cross 0. Okay, that's number 1. So I'm starting off. My favorite ones are when I can get the favorites and get them back under 3, or if I can get a dog and get them over 7. Right. So my first one's Penn State minus 2.5 over West Virginia. Now I don't need the 6 points. Penn State is going to beat West Virginia so bad. They are going to beat West Virginia so bad that it's not even going to. Penn State is so underrated. I mean, they're not underrated. They're underrated to Ed, but they're not underrated in the country right now. They're preseason top 10. They're fantastic. Their defense is nasty. I'm glad you didn't go with that over, Ed. Listen, Penn State is leg number 1 minus 2.5. I'm coupling them with Kansas State. Kansas State, give me Kansas State minus 2.5 over Zona. Kansas State is great early in the season. Every year, they always start off very, very good. Zona is, a hit and miss team. Their talent looks down again this year. Their preseason expectations are not very high. So that 2-team teaser, when I can get both of those favorites under 3 with Penn State and Kansas State, both minus 2.5, those are my 3 college week 1 plays.
So you went with a teaser as your third play. I like that.
And because I kind of wanted to introduce it to the audience a little bit. I
like that.
Touch on it. And, yeah.
You might want to. I love what you're saying. Don't ever cross 0. Give an example, just in case someone out there is not. Give an example. I know what you mean, but it's a great rule of thumb. But give an example of what you're talking about.
So, for example, like Texas A&M is minus 2.5 against Notre Dame. You would never tease Texas A&M and say, okay, instead of being -2.5, I'm going to take them +3.5, because typically when a team wins a game, they're going to win by 3 or more points.
Yep.
So those points between 2 and 2 are basically irrelevant. So you might as well just take Texas A&M to win the game outright, because the odds are if they cover 2.5 anyways, they're going to win by 3.5. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that when you got a team that's like -4 and then you take them at +2. It makes no sense. You're losing a ton of value in the teaser. You'd be better off doing a 2-team money line parlay in that situation and just taking the team straight up, with the money line instead of any points at all. So that's an example of where you would not want to do a teaser.
And to reference the schedule Doug was talking about for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they open at A&M, and then we go at Purdue, home against Louisville, at Georgia Tech, the Ram. Don't sleep on the Ramblin' Wreck. Those boys can play now. Woo!
Yeah, that and that's a surprise. I mean, obviously 2 weeks ago, no one would have ever said that, but that was with that big shocking win they just had.
Okay.
You're right. That could be a little bit different.
Interestingly enough, after a bye week, we can see if it was a fluke because they have the Noles. They've got the Noles coming to town. So far, it's not that bad of a schedule. Look, I despise Notre Dame with all my being, but I just have to say. And then they play at Army. Then they play home against Northern Illinois. Then Miami of Ohio. They take a little MAC break there. Miami of Ohio, then Stanford, then at Navy, then Virginia, then at USC. So there's that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they've got most people.
It's not as bad as you made it sound. I mean, he made it sound really bad. Edward, what do you? He made it sound like Notre Dame's schedule was just.
He made it sound like they were playing like Lindenwood and.
Do you see though the credibility? He's going to struggle getting credit. He can't get credibility because of this.
I mean, listen, they've got Florida State.
It's not a typical
and
Notre Dame schedule. I will say that.
Yeah, where's Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, usually Notre Dame's playing some legit teams, but it's not.
They play the
not as hard
teams
this year as it typically is.
Syracuse, Stanford, Georgia Tech. They play these teams that are just perennially terrible, and they continue to schedule them year in and year out, along with Army and Air Force and Colgate. And
can we just make Notre Dame join a conference already? I'm over.
Who cares? I mean, they're a bunch of buffoons. They're a non-factor. They'll always be a non-factor. Okay, that's just the reality. Congratulations.
With this new playoff format, they're going to be around quite often.
Notre Dame are the Cleveland Browns of college football.
Notre Dame runs the table, sneaks into that 5 seed, and gets smacked in the mouth by Liberty.
Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I also have mine. The reason why Doug mentioned that's because who would have known that he would have had 2 going against Ed. Mine are also written down. I will have you know that I had North Dakota State, who is now up 20-14, plus the 11.5. But I'm not going to count that. I also have North Carolina -1.5 at Minnesota, but that's being played tonight. Who knew? Therefore, my 3 picks that you can latch onto and feast on. See, Thanksgiving's not for another 8 weeks, but you can feast early. Boys and girls, you can feast early on these delicious birds. Pick number 1, the Fighting Owls of Temple. Getting the 42 in the hook at Oklahoma? I don't think so. Brett Venables in the Oklahoma who? 42.5? They won't score 42.5. You're welcome. You're welcome. Free money for you. That's number 1. Number 2. Go Georgia Bulldogs. Nay. Not the point spread, but the over 48.5 points against Dabo. In the year of proving himself Sweeney and the Fighting Tigers, 48.5? Is it a halftime line? Georgia's going to beat this team by 40. You're welcome again. Just stacks of cash in front of you. Temple plus the 42.5. Clemson, Georgia over 40.5. Which leads me to my number 1 play. And I want to congratulate Ed Conley for being on the side of righteousness. The West Virginia Mountaineers, in this rabid fan base, they're going to be drinking the moonshine all day. All day. They have got moonshine. You want to talk about booze. I'm a first ballot Hall of Fame drinker. I haven't touched the shit they're drinking over there for breakfast. 8.5? I'm talking money line. I'm talking WVU. You could take your 8.5 points. That's easy. Why do you get 2.5 to 1 on your money? Because the Mountaineers Penn State's offense is the most pathetic, sorry, no first down getting, no touchdown scoring, no field goal kicking, pathetic offense in modern day college football. West Virginia wins 3-2.
So you like the under?
I haven't even thought about that, but I guess the under might apply there. But more importantly, the WVU Mountaineers plus the 8.5. Holy mackerel! Sprinkle a little bit of that money line, and hey, I'll see you at the window. Not literally, because I'm not going to bet any of my real money on this.
Yo,
but
jumping out.
Hey, I'll see you at the window. Cashing those tickets, everybody. Yahtzee! Are we having fun yet, or what?
Heck yeah.
Edward, what are your thoughts tomorrow? Iggy, St. Ignatius, they've fallen on some hard times recently, but they knocked off the Menor Redbirds last year in the playoffs.
Twice.
Holy!
Beat us in the regular season and again in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Two
in the game
of their 3 wins.
And so tomorrow night, what's the point? What would be the proverbial point spread? Obviously, there's not a real point spread, but what would be the thoughts?
If I had to guess, I would say Menor minus 6.5.
Okay. There's a rumor, Edward, are you dressing up as a giant bird?
This may have happened.
Doug?
It did happen.
Doug, yeah. Doug, see, I know. That was Captain Cardinal, I believe, is what they called him. And I just want to confirm, were you wearing a beak?
I was wearing a Cardinal mask.
A big, okay, Cardinal mask. His son is a senior. It's a senior year on the football team. So Ed's...
Makes sense why he took the over in the Arizona Cardinals season.
Ed's invested.
Yeah.
Captain Cardinal.
All in.
Douglas, what do you got? We always leave the people with words of wisdom from Doogie, nay, Dougie, William Wade. The floor is yours, my friend. Speak to the people your words of wisdom before we go.
Well, all right. As we go into the betting season here for a lot of people in college football and the NFL, I touched on teasers a little bit. I want to touch on a couple things. Let's talk about parlays. All my buddies, all my friends, they want to play parlays. 2-team, 3-team, 4-team parlays. Look at these. Listen, parlays are for the birds. You are not going to win money playing parlays. Okay, you can have a great day, go 3-1. You've lost money. Okay, have fun with it. Don't try to make a living off of it. Bet games individually. Okay, and at the most, if you're going to do a parlay, be smart about it. If you can, some books don't allow this, but if you can, if you like a team that's an underdog, okay, and they're away, typically you want to side that with the under. If you're going to take a home favorite, you typically want to side that with the over. Try to bet two bets within the same game to get your parlay. So you're going to take a favorite in the over, or an underdog in the under type thing. Those are your best chances of parlays. But trying to just pick 3 random games, 4 random games, don't do it. Just Venmo me money, and we'll talk about how we could take this money and invest it in other things. Okay, parlays are out. So be smart about it. Have fun with it. And if you need a winner, text me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun going into this football season. So until next time, remember, this is Casey on Tap, where anything goes. Have a great week, everybody.
Do you believe this stuff that's coming out of your mouth? There's no way you do it.
This was a credit card cuckold.
Love wins out in the end,